welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
On Friday, Daredevil Season 2 comes out. So in honor of that, we're doing Daredevil Guardian Devil by Kevin Smith and Joe Quesada.
Oh.
Part of the Marvel Knights series, back when Marvel was pulling itself out of the toilet. Joe Quesada called all of his media contacts, and one of them was Kevin Smith, who, a lapsed Catholic and a proprietor of religious-themed movies such as Dogma, and that is it. The Daredevil character was an attractive prospect for them. So, in 1998, Kevin Smith got together with Joe Quesada and drew this, several-issue miniseries. Well, it was kind of like a miniseries. It was just, we're bringing Daredevil back out. And they slapped a label on it called Marvel Knights, which is not like the Marvel Max print, where it's like, this is R-rated, it might be out of continuity, we don't know. Marvel Knights was like, it's something else. It's a darker corner of the in-continuity Marvel universe.
We're talking with just an N, not a KN?
No, a KN. Like, Moon Knight was a Marvel Knight. Daredevil's a Marvel Knight. Later on, like, everybody became a Marvel Knight. Like, they actually came out with, like, Marvel Knight Spider-Man, which was written by Mark Miller. And
the reason we're
Terry
saying
Dodson.
The reason we're putting it that way is because, like, in the Middle Ages, in the Dark Ages, you
Yeah.
had knights.
Yeah.
Not, modern day and night.
No,
which
it's not.
would have actually made more sense.
No, it makes sense because these are the knights, like the current knights of the Round Table. Like, these are our warriors that defend us in today's modern era.
Are they part of a feudal
Cap,
system?
I guess.
Like, I don't
No, they
understand.
they like the name. It was a cool name. Ah!
So you say brought Daredevil back. Where did he go?
Into obscurity and shitty sales. Daredevil has been around since like '64. He's a huge character.
Yeah.
And has had seminal runs by huge creators. Frank Miller, for example.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any, like, powers.
No, he has powers. His powers are heightened senses because of his blindness.
He's a blind person.
Well, no, but he's not. He's blind because of magic chemicals that got in his face. Like, so it's not just like, no, any blind person can be Daredevil. Like, no. Like, the show actually kind of skirts that line where it's like, it's a guy. And he also goes into... No. They're trying really hard to be like, he has no powers. Fucking, if a man wore a leotard and was beaten, like, savagely every day, you would die from internal hemorrhaging.
He has that friend who heals him.
Yeah, night nurse.
Well, the night nurse, yes. Well, and also he brings up, he says that he can focus his healing through meditation.
Anybody could do that.
That's a fucking magic power. Like, that's a power.
Magic, maybe. Mystical, more like.
It is more mystical.
Yeah.
Because
I looked up, like, the Marvel wiki on Daryl. I'm like, can he heal or not? Does he have a healing factor? No. He meditates.
Yes.
Which, like, theoretically anyone could do, but
Yes.
he's just super trained.
He's very trained at it. Anybody can do it. It's actually funny, during Maximum Carnage, I think we talked about this, Iron Fist, another mystical character. He's just a guy.
Right.
But he can channel all this energy into a fist and create, like, magic.
His chi.
His chi, if you will.
Chi,
yeah, but he's just a guy.
Like what they tell you in karate class. Like,
only...
For him, it's, like, real.
Only it's fucking real and not, like, disappointing. But,
it actually makes his fist iron, not, like, physically.
No, not like he feels... No,
some
you'll feel like iron,
It
but
has
really...
the properties of iron.
Yeah. But Iron Fist can also tap into, like, the chi of others and, like, calm them the fuck down.
Oh.
And and, like, the riot's going crazy and he chills it out and then, like, Shriek makes it all fucked up and so Spider-Man's like, if you could teach that to all of us, we can solve this problem. And Iron Fist's like, no problem, it will only take 8 or 10 years to train you.
Yeah,
and
that was hilarious.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man breaks a chimney with his rage from that fact. But he does have a healing factor, so he was fine.
Right.
Daredevil would have broken his hands. Guardian Devil. Daredevil is... Daredevil had been through the ringer forever. Like, part of the fun of writing Daredevil is fucking him big time.
Yeah, that seems part of his character.
Bendis wrote Daredevil for a while.
Well, he lives in New York.
Yeah, but
you
like...
get fucked over all the time in New York.
Yeah, but like, not by traffic, but by, like, life. Daredevil is one of those characters who is defined by his guilt and his hope.
Wait, his guilt?
Yeah, Daredevil has Catholic guilt.
Yeah, it's weird because it's always like, oh, I've sinned. I'm like, yeah, but like Spider-Man's like responsible for his uncle dying. Like,
Yes.
what did you do? What are you responsible for?
He's responsible for most people dying in his life, except for like his dad.
I was going to say, that's the only person I know in his life that's died.
Well,
that's been really important.
Get ready for Guardian Devil. His dad, Battling Jack Murdoch, dies because he's like trying to prove to his son that he's not a phony and a loser.
Yeah.
And he doesn't throw the fight that he's supposed to, and he's killed for it. Like, you can't blame him. Just like an 8-year-old Bruce Wayne can't blame himself for not jumping in the path of a bullet that was like 3 feet higher than you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't blame him. And I don't think he really does.
That's way better than not stopping a criminal who later kills your uncle when you easily could have.
Yeah, no. Spider-Man has legitimate guilt for not saving his uncle. That's
also,
fair.
You were 15 at that time.
Yeah, you could have saved him. You had spider powers.
Yeah, we're talking to younger kids, like 7 or 8.
Yeah, no, and Matt was like 8. Like, Matt was around the same age.
Yeah.
But
so it's really just the Catholic thing.
It's the Catholic thing. He's like, I feel these things that I want to do in my heart, and then I do them.
Oh, I thought I was brought about through sex, and now I have to be guilty about that.
No, he does. Daredevil, like, gets more sex, like, practically than Tony Stark in the Marvel Universe. And at no point does he go like, oh, we weren't married.
Yeah, that's
he has Catholic guilt, like, oh, I carry the burden of sin in my heart, and I also
really want to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, and so all I do is beat them near death. Daredevil had been dating Karen Page, who's on the show, and she hints at in the show having like a dark past.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, I wonder what she did. In comics, she was a porn star, and also a druggie.
Oh.
Okay.
So, like, and even then, like, Karen Page has been around since, like, the beginning of Daredevil. Like, was invented in the 60s. Okay. Back when I decided to start reading Daredevil, I'm like, Karen Page, right, she was invented, what, the 80s? Nope. She's an integral character, like Foggy fucking Nelson.
Well, how long has she been a porn star, though?
Not very long at all, and you never really see it on the page.
Right.
It's just like, she comes back, and she had been a porn star.
Well, yeah, I imagine you don't actually show it.
No. But in this, she is basically Daredevil's Gwen Stacy. Like, the perfect person for Daredevil. Even though there are many different perfect people for Daredevil. Including Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. They had a relationship, and she used to be like...
Really?
Yeah, back in the day, like, she used to be, and by the day I mean like the 70s, 80s, she used to be like a supporting character in Daredevil books. Because, like, she's kind of a ninja, and so is he, and like, they used to do Black Ops stuff. Yeah.
So, like, you can't give a Russian their own book.
I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, in the 60s, maybe they were, like, a little bit hairy about it, but no, she had a book. It was just that, like, she was also a female who had no powers, and so that doesn't sell too many pages, so they threw her into her Daredevil book. I mentioned it because...
She has red hair, he has a red suit.
There's so many parallels!
It's a natural fit.
Well, there was a time it was yellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's where Karen Page comes in, because she's a blonde. No, anyway, Karen Page is Daredevil's once and future love of his life, and in this, they really like cement the fact that like the Matt Murdock and Karen Page should be together. And at the beginning of this, she breaks up with him and leaves. And the reason is because
it's a weird way to cement that.
I know. Well, she leaves, and then he's so sad.
He unravels.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she leaves because she's like, we need to establish whether or not we're together because we've been through so much trauma and we used each other to build ourselves back up, or if we're actually compatible.
Instead of just being each other's crutch.
Yes. Which is kind of fair.
That's legit. That's a legit reason to be like, hey, I need some time.
Yeah, she's not like, I hate you and I want to see you again.
Okay.
It's just, I'm leaving for the West Coast. I'm going to try to get this new job. And the new job, by the way, is a radio disc jockey. She wants to be like a radio personality.
Okay.
Which she gets, by the way. But she's like, I'm going to go do this thing away from you that has nothing to do with Daredevil or Matt Murdock or the law. I just want to do this thing and get away from you.
That's a weird change in
it's a weird vacation, yeah. But she's trying
a really far away to go.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Well,
like,
yeah, that's
it's
understandable.
You because she moves to the West Coast, it's like, come on. Yeah, but these people leave and come back all the time. For even in recent Daredevil books, like, he's disbarred in New York, so he moves to California.
Yeah.
In the new, after Secret Wars relaunch, he's back in New York, and he's a lawyer again. Like, yeah, the people move all the time.
We got Avengers teams on both coasts, man.
I guess that, like, well, not anymore, but they used to.
Yeah.
West Coast Avengers? No, they didn't.
No,
the West Coast Avengers was disbarred like the 80s or 90s.
Oh, I was thinking like
they were
back in the
to...
60s, 70s when Daredevil was around.
Oh, no. Not even that. In the 80s, they created West Coast Avengers, and then they turned it into a terrible team called Force Works. Because, like, there were teams called, like, Youngblood and Wildcats back then, and they were like, Avengers sounds totally lame, but if we're Force Works!
Force Works.
Punching people is effective.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a really shitty, like, C&D company. Like someone that makes, like, screws and bolts and shit.
Force Works. Force Works LLC.
Or like a shitty piece of software.
Yeah. But in this, it's a team of colorful people that punch bad guys.
Gotcha.
But anyway, they sucked and they went away too. Daredevil never joined either of those teams. Daredevil is dumped, and he's sad, and he's working for Foggy Nelson's mom, who they're both working for her, because Nelson and Murdoch, their law firm, had been blown up by the Kingpin at this point.
Oh, shit.
So they have no law firm, and Nelson's mother, who owns this huge, like a real, like, major, law firm in the city, high rises and, like, ritzy clients and whatnot.
Foggy's family are lawyers?
Yeah. Well, his mom is.
Okay.
And she's also, like, a cutthroat, take no prisoners, like, I don't really love my son kind of lawyer.
Oh.
And so it's kind of rough.
Why does she even employ him then?
Because she does. She's like, you're my son, and it'll also look good that, like, we got another Nelson in here. And also, like, Murdoch has made some bones by being, like, an effective lawyer. Okay. It's really more like, I'll hire my loser son so I can get Murdoch. Yeah. Okay. So Matt's working at the firm, and he's visited by this 15-year-old girl who is with child. Seemingly, it's random. It's like, you need to take this baby. And he's like, oh, what? No.
I'm blind?
Yeah, I can't care for a baby. Actually, what happens is the girl goes to him, and she's like, I need help. I have this baby. And also, I didn't have sex with anybody.
Oh. And he's like, I can do it.
Oh, I'm totally Catholic. That sounds familiar.
This is the new Christ, okay.
Yeah.
Is it a clone?
No. So she offers him... Well, she gives him the baby and leaves, and then she's quickly killed.
Oh. Good job, Daredevil.
No, not good job, Daredevil. Good job, lady. Like, at least only she was killed.
Yes. She protects the baby, but also dies. And then he calls Romanov, and she shows up because... Basically, Kevin Smith had stopped reading comics after, like, the 80s. And remembers all these characters and likes to see them. And so when they're like, you want to write Daredevil? He's like, fuck yeah, Daredevil! Karen Page, Black Widow, right? And they're like, sure. So now they're in there.
Well, we haven't done that in a while, but yeah, knock yourself out.
Well, what had happened to Karen Page prior to this?
I mean, like, she had been put through the ringer as well. Like, they had been on again, off again. I mean, she needed to go away for a long enough period in time so he could have sex with, fall in love with, and then ultimately be responsible for the death of Elektra, and then have her come back and then die again, and then have her come back again.
I don't know what's happening here, but this room is incredibly messy.
Yes. Well, it's Daredevil's room.
Well, it's Daredevil's room. I'm not talking about, like, the stuff laying around. I'm talking about the fact that there are, like, stains and spills everywhere.
Yeah.
I think from him feeding the baby.
It's from him feeding the baby.
Which is hilarious because he's blind.
Yeah, well,
It's a blind joke.
Well, I think it's a man joke. I think it's like, look at this poor hapless son of a bitch and a baby. How he doesn't have breasts or a vagina. How's he gonna make this work?
Did you see the movie 3 Men and a Baby?
How can you imagine 3 of those jokesters playing around with this poor thing? Natasha kind of like, and Matt spar, they talk a little bit back and forth, and Matt's like, can you take care of this baby while I be Daredevil? And she's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Why doesn't he take it to, like, a government agency?
That's what he should do, and I think he basically like says, like, I should probably do that. But it's a virgin birth.
According to that random chick.
Yeah, but he has radar senses.
Oh, he knows she wasn't lying.
He knows she wasn't lying. And so when he hears that, he's like, holy fuck. Literally.
Why doesn't he give it to a priest?
God damn it. He does, actually, eventually. Well, he does one better. He gives it to a nun, his mom.
Oh.
Wait.
I didn't know
his mom's still alive?
Yeah. Yeah, he thought she was dead, but then it turned out that, like, no, after they had Matt, she abandoned them and then joined a convent. And then later he discovers her and, they reconcile.
Well, it's because he's a devil.
So then Murdoch is visited in his office by this old guy named Nicholas Macabre.
Is he an elephant hunter or some sort of, like, old world money man?
He doesn't have the hat.
Or the elephant gun, but he does look like that. No, he's an old guy who basically says, so you're the Daredevil, And
why does everybody know he's Daredevil?
How does everyone fucking know this?
Well, eventually everyone will know because they're going to print in the news that he is Daredevil. But at this point, a lot of people already know, including Kingpin, by the way. It's why he blew up his office.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, so the Macabre basically tells him, the baby you have is a virgin birth, but not from God. It's the Antichrist.
Oh.
And the reason why Macabre knows all this is because Macabre might be otherworldly. Macabre is I am part of an order of angels and shit, and you have in your possession the Antichrist, who will bring about the end of the world. Unless you give her to me. And then I will I will do something with it, and you won't have to worry about it anymore.
Can Daredevil tell if he's lying?
He tries, but he can't get a fix on him.
Because he doesn't have blood.
Right, because he's ethereal, or so we think. He leaves his calling card, which is that of a cross. And Matt's
how do I use this?
Right. He's because
where's
eventually...
the number?
Well, it also has a phone number.
It's on the back.
Is this embossed? Can I actually feel it? Because I can't read it.
Yeah.
Can't he feel the slightest
imperfection or
raised
print? Oh yeah, he reads newspapers just by reason feeling the raised prints and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, good call. Good research.
So I went to the Wikipedia page for Daredevil.
So Natasha. So then he puts on his Daredevil costume. He goes out to be Daredevil because whatever. And Black Widow shows up. He's still got to be Daredevil.
Yeah.
And
where does the baby go? What does he just leave
actually,
it?
Black Widow shows up with the baby.
Oh.
And she's like, "You ain't leaving me with the baby."
You already did once.
What, he snuck out when she was there?
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm going to go in the other room and give the babies a snack. And then he dresses like Daredevil and runs out the window?
No, he goes to work as Matt Murdock. And then he changes as Matt...
So she agreed to watch him at work.
More or less. She doesn't agree to it. More he leaves her there with the baby. And she's like, I'm not a monster.
Right.
So then Daredevil becomes a monster by basically saying to her, well, I was met by an angel, and he said that the baby is the Antichrist, so let's get rid of it. And he takes the baby and he throws it off the building. What? Natasha basically has the same reaction. She jumps off the building to catch him, and then Daredevil's like, what are you... okay, so he uses his billy club thing to catch her. It's a billy club, but it also has a rope attached to it.
Right.
Yeah.
He catches her, and she's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And he's like, it's the Antichrist, Natasha. She's like, said some stranger!
Yeah, according to that guy.
Yeah, according to us, who are people, there's a baby here that you threw over the building. And he's like, I'm sorry. And,
I'm sorry I threw the baby off the building.
You're going to be such a pain in the ass about it.
I didn't know you cared so much. God.
Why don't you keep it for me? She's like,
that was the plan the whole time.
Yeah. I'm clearly unfit to take care of a child.
She basically says, you're totally unfit to take care of this baby or yourself, and she leaves with the baby.
With the baby, all right.
And,
yes.
Yeah,
he's done.
Bingo!
Mission accomplished.
So, meanwhile, Foggy has this terrible plot where Foggy is hired by this wealthy divorcee who is leaving her husband because her husband was, apparently really abusive and reportedly, sterilized her.
Oh my God.
Really rough shit.
Jesus.
Smith's like, let's put some really because it's Marvel Knights. It's we'll push the envelope.
Yeah.
So
Kevin Smith has no problem pushing envelopes.
It's true. So Nelson goes to walk this woman to her penthouse apartment, and then she puts the moves on him, which would be fine if it weren't for the fact that at this point in time, Foggy Nelson is seriously involved with Liz Allen, who was Peter Parker's first crush from back in the day.
Okay.
Liz Allen also is a widower because at that point in time, Liz Allen was this chick that used to date Flash Thompson. Peter Parker was always in love with her.
Yeah.
After they graduated high school, she revealed that she was in love with Peter Parker the entire time.
Yeah.
But Peter was involved with other people, so whatever. Never came to be. But she did wind up hooking up with and marrying Harry Osborn, his best friend. And they had a kid. Then Harry died from an overdose of goblin formula until One More Day. And then... But at this point, One More Day hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So
he's fucking dead.
So he's fucking dead, and she's just stuck with this baby, and she's dating Foggy Nelson. And it's kind of oh, cool, look at this. We're seeing
Foggy's a stand-up guy.
Small world. Yeah. So Foggy fucks this chick.
Oh, wow.
And then she turns into a demon and attacks him.
That's what you get, Foggy. Cheating on your girlfriend.
And then he kicks her out the window and she dies and reverts back to a person, and Foggy Nelson is arrested for murdering this chick.
Oh my god.
So,
what?
Yeah. Meanwhile...
Why does that happen? Why does a demon attack him?
It's all connected.
Okay.
Maybe the demon attacked him because Foggy Nelson is a friend of the person who's protecting the Antichrist.
Holy shit, this is incredibly 90s.
What?
Well, Quesada was a 90s artist back when he first started.
Yeah.
That demon?
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, yeah, with all the teeth?
Yeah.
The teeth, the red eyes.
But no other
everything.
features because it's in shadow. Matt is like, man, I threw a baby out over the side of a building. I'm an asshole. So he goes home, and then Karen Page comes knocking at the door, and she's crying. And she's like,
she was in California.
She was in California, but she came back because part of her job, because she got the job being a disc jockey, but she had to take a blood test.
Okay.
And when she did,
What?
it's part of the application process to prove that she's not on stuff. I'm sure that it's
like
actually
a drug test.
It's a drug test.
Okay.
And she actually used to be a junkie, so it's kind of like, oh no.
Right.
But no.
Yeah, but she's clean.
She was clean, yeah. Except for the fact that she has AIDS.
What?
Oh, shit.
So she came back and she's like, I have AIDS. And you're like, wow.
Does Daredevil have AIDS?
Does Daredevil have AIDS?
Is that where this is going?
That's where we're going. We're going with holy shit, maybe Matt has AIDS.
Don't worry.
Marvel Knights. Matt meets with Foggy, and Foggy tells him the ridiculously debaucherous demon-esque tale.
Yeah.
And of course, he's telling the truth.
He's telling the truth. Matt's like, yep, that makes sense.
Yep,
Sure.
She turned into a demon.
I live in a world where people do turn into demons. That's fair. I dress like one. It doesn't...
Sorry that happened to you, man.
Yeah, that's rough.
But
also, in order for you to be exonerated, you have to admit that you cheated on your fucking girlfriend with a demon. So, your life is over.
His defense has to be
that he fucked a demon.
That he fucked a girl who turned into a demon?
Yeah.
And that's gonna work?
Well, because, they were both in a state of undress at the time. And
yeah, but the part about her being a demon, is that gonna go over in court?
When she died, she reverted back to being a human, so no one believes him.
Right!
The demon defense does not really hold
It's not gonna work at all.
No.
So why would him sleeping with her...
Well, it's because it's all
she
part
was
of...
so dangerous to me, I had to throw her out a window.
No, it was...
what part of her was dangerous? The part where she was smaller than you? Or the part where she was weaker than you? He has to go up there and on the stand and say something that's utterly impossible to any normal person.
Yes.
So that he gets the insanity
defense.
They're not going for insanity! Foggy's mom fires him and abandons him.
Oh.
And because she fires him and separates her firm from him, because she's like, when this gets out, which it's already out, it will destroy our firm.
Mm-hmm.
So
because I just hired you.
Yeah, so you need to fucking go. And Murdoch, because you work here, you can't defend him. So Murdoch's like, I quit.
Of course.
So now Matt is fucking jobless.
Yep.
And also might have AIDS. And also threw a baby off the side of a building. So his life is kind of
is really, really taking some turns.
But that's it's more oddly turned than most Daredevil stories. But this is the fucking swan. This is the song of Daredevil, where it's things are pretty okay. And then we just chip it away until it comes to utter suicide.
Almost as if he was under some sort of gypsy curse.
Yeah. Or it's editorial said, there's a mandate that says Daredevil can't be happy. And it's true. And in fact, Bendis takes it even further, by outing his secret identity and just literally
making life hell.
He goes to jail. Because you can't be Daredevil and fucking not go to jail.
Right.
He's arrested. And it's way cooler because then fucking it turns out that Punisher likes Daredevil. And when he finds out that it's Matt Murdock, he's like, oh, he's going to jail? They'll eat him alive. So then he makes himself get arrested. And then he goes to jail. He's like, hey, Matt. And Matt's
Don't
like,
worry.
get away from me! And he's like,
yeah,
I got your back, Matt. Matt's like, don't help me. Mr. Macabre comes to visit.
Okay.
And he explains to Karen, you have AIDS because God's punishing you. Because you're helping Matt not kill the Antichrist.
Jesus. She didn't even know about that.
No, but now she does, because Macabre explained it to her.
Yeah, but she got AIDS before that happened.
Yeah, but it's all part of the plan.
Okay, so Macabre is not a good guy.
Calling
He's an
bullshit on
asshole.
Macabre.
Yeah, Macabre is bullshit. Drugs come into play heavily in this book, but not marijuana, paralysis and sleep-inducing drugs. Drugs that will explain shit.
Okay.
So Matt wakes up in this all-white room, and then this monkey-faced, terrible haircut guy shows up. Baal is
So he's he's another thing like...
agent of Macabre or whatever.
Okay.
And he's like, you gotta kill the baby. Give me the baby. And he's like, I'm never gonna give you the baby.
Wait,
and then
if this guy's a demon, because clearly he is,
right,
why would he want the Antichrist dead?
I don't know. It's stupid. He's dumb, and it doesn't matter. But like the point is, Matt winds up like breaking free and escaping
from the White Room.
From the White Room, which is just a room with just like lots of lights on.
Oh, it looks like they're in some kind of swirling.
It does.
vortex.
Like, well, and you're supposed to be like thinking, like, oh, are we in like purgatory or some ethereal realm?
But he's just on drugs.
He's just on drugs, and it's like smoke and mirrors.
Oh,
It's fucking with his senses.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
senses, yeah.
exactly. So then Matt
We're
almost
seeing what he sees with his radar and shit.
yeah.
Okay.
So then Matt almost gets hit by a truck because he like escapes into the street.
Right.
And then Natasha saves him, and she's like, I stopped by your apartment, and there's this like blonde in your bed, and she's crying and shit, and I was like, no, thank you.
Also, she said something about HIV and AIDS.
Yeah,
so
she did not say that. But it's funny because he's like, oh no, like Karen was there. Did she see you? She can't know that like hot redheads are coming through my bedroom window because I'm still trying to salvage my relationship.
Right.
Because I'm fucking Daredevil and I'm really concerned about these things. And she's like, all right, like she still has the baby, by the way.
Right.
And it's raining.
It's raining, and the
This baby's getting wet.
yeah, but
This baby was going to have a cold.
This
Now
baby's
we can see what the baby looks like because there's rain falling on his face.
what the movie? You are so beautiful.
Thanks for bringing that up, Ethan.
That movie's so bad. But
And
then
he's choking her. What's happening?
well, like out of nowhere, Daredevil grabs the baby and jumps off the building. This time, he and the baby take like a fucking
oh my god.
a fucking header off the building, and it kind of like the adrenaline of jumping off the building kind of like shakes him out of
The drug-induced
because yeah, he's clearly addled in some
Right,
way, and
right.
he's acting not of his own accord
Right.
because he would never attack Natasha,
baby.
or a baby.
Or also, that baby's hideous. Can I just
It
say?
is
Look at this
hideous.
baby.
For some
It's
reason,
like a goblin baby.
it is.
Jesus.
Well, because it's supposed to be like barely new, you know,
That
like
one,
Yeah.
look, he looks evil right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's when he decides to jump off the building, and it's like,
No, they're already.
oh, it is the Antichrist.
They're already. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I'll kill you, Daredevil.
He takes the baby to his mom at the nunnery
Okay.
or at the church.
What he should have done in the first
Which
place.
is what he should have done in the first place. And he's like, Mom, like, what? Like, I'm going through some shit right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do, and blah, blah,
Really
blah.
help me if you would take this baby.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even say that. He doesn't even think about the baby. He's, like, so upset
Oh.
over his life falling apart that he just winds up complaining the entire time.
It's like, I noticed you have a baby in your hands.
Right, is that
Is that
my
part-
grandmother?
Is that related to your problems
Yeah,
in any way?
it is. And she basically says, like, God has a plan. He's like, God damn it. Like, don't, you know...
What else was she going to say? She's a fucking nun. What
I
was
know, but
expecting?
he's like, Mom, you know, that's really convenient for you to say, but you don't put on a costume and jump around all the time. Like,
You got all this fucking Catholic guilt, and you believe he was the Antichrist. You
Yeah.
don't think God has a hand in this,
right?
Fucking schmuck.
But anyway, he winds up like taking some R&R at the church and like having a real conversation with her about
Okay.
about the baby and God and whether it could be. And she's like, listen, like there's no. This is a baby. Like, I believe in all this shit, and it's not the Antichrist. Like, your job is not to kill a baby.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if it was the Antichrist, like, geez, like, the devil or whatever is really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because he, like, told everybody. Like, because you know.
Yeah, right? Like, exactly. Because
really
random
think-
strangers came to you and told you that?
Yeah,
Like,
you really think that's what would happen?
right? No.
No.
So,
It wouldn't be that easy.
yes.
You could stop the whole thing by just killing this baby. No.
I say the nay. Karen winds up showing up at the church.
Yeah.
And she's like, Matt, I have the solution to all of our problems. We kill the baby.
Yeah.
It's like, she goes, no, it's... And he's like, are you
And
ready?
then I'll be cured of AIDS.
And I'll be cured of
I'll
AIDS.
drink its blood,
She-
and that will cure me.
She doesn't even... She's like, you don't understand. Like, the baby's the cause of all our problems. And Matt launches into this amazing monologue at her. It's the monologue that I read to myself every time I watch Daredevil Season 1 because Karen is such a fucking asshole. And, like, everything she does, she deserves everything she gets. And hopefully by Season 2, there will be a reckoning for Karen Page. But in this, he basically says, like, You have AIDS because you were a junkie and had sex with many people, not because a baby was born. If you have someone to blame, look at a fucking mirror. And she starts crying and runs away. And he's like, oh man, I want to sleep with this chick. What am I doing?
Why did I say all those true things?
So then,
God, I should have just said, "Hey, come here," and then had sex with her.
right, because either
Wait,
way,
no, she has AIDS.
we go to Macabre's office where
Has
he's
he got
drinking.
himself tested yet? Like,
No.
No. Okay.
Of course not. There's no time for that.
Yeah.
No time for a pressing.
I don't have AIDS. I meditated that shit away.
Exactly. He just focused his chi.
Yeah.
And then he had Iron Fist punch it out of his system. So we go to Macabre's office where he's in shadow and he's drinking wine and he's like, okay, so he's hired Bullseye, Daredevil's greatest nemesis.
Yep.
And he's like, you need to get this baby for me, but don't kill Daredevil.
Okay.
I know you want to because that's your thing.
Was this to like blame Daredevil?
No.
Like,
No,
don't kill Daredevil because when the baby's dead, everyone will think he did it.
It's not that, but that would be great. Then we're like, oh shit, Bullseye's in this book now. That's crazy.
Who looks ridiculous, by the way.
What is,
That's always been his
that's his
costume.
I
costume.
know. And I just say,
You think he
Bullseye looks ridiculous.
He does look ridiculous, but like, I
There's
don't
a
know.
man in a devil suit.
Yeah,
No,
he looks as ridiculous as
fucking
anybody.
Cool. Daredevil or Bullseye looks weird.
You know, it's funny. I've grown up with Bullseye, so I'm like, I associate all the things Bullseye's done with the look of Bullseye. So for me, I'm like, oh shit, because nobody else
Right.
looks like Bullseye.
Well, he's always been kind of gangly.
yeah, he's creepy and you never know, you don't know his name. And he's just this face of, and he's dressed like a colorful supervillain. He looks about as innocuous as any Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
But he's also a vicious, sadistic murderer.
Okay.
So
He
it's
doesn't
kinda
have
like,
a bullseye carved in his forehead.
yeah, he doesn't have
which
that,
is great.
That's true.
or a silly trench coat,
That's also true.
or a terrible accent.
bullseye.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen. By the way, when that movie came out, I made Bullseye jokes for probably a year. If I threw anything in the garbage, Bullseye. Or if someone was right about something, Bullseye.
And nobody got it.
Oh, they got it all right.
By the way, I still own that movie.
Yeah, I do too.
I-
That's a
seen that
guilty
movie in a
pleasure
long
of mine.
time.
I like the Daredevil movie because there's some cool moments in it, but most of it
We
sucks.
should watch it sometime. I only saw it one time in theaters. I don't remember.
There's a director's cut. It's a little better. It is
a little better.
It's a little better. There's more F words in it, and Coolio.
Oh.
Daredevil plays an actual lawyer in that. Like, he does stuff at trial, which is
Oh,
kind of neat.
That's cool.
Instead of just losing a case and then murdering the guy anyway. So then Daredevil decides, like, wait a minute, I'm a fucking character in the Marvel Universe, and I got the Antichrist, maybe? Doctor Strange, can we meet? And so he goes to the Sanctum.
Oh, that's
And
perfect.
he calls the
Yeah.
doc, and he's like, and Doctor Strange is like, well, you have a, like, I'm just looking at you, just by looking at you, you got a drug in your system that's making you go crazy.
Holy shit.
So let's purge that shit.
Can I just say that this scene right here looks like the fucking Swedish chef made his cereal explode
Yes,
all
it
over the
does
page.
look like that. I don't get all the fucking terrible stars.
Stars.
It's
magic.
Jesus. Hey, yeah, it's Doctor Strange in this book for like 3
Yeah.
pages.
I love this light shooting out of his fucking head.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
he's using it to see the poison that Daredevil's got. So hang around for this. All right, Daredevil's got. So Doc basically says, like, you have a poison within you, and he extracts the poison from Daredevil, and then he's like, okay, if we want to,
Was that poison AIDS?
no, no, it's not. That would be amazing. He's like, you are riddled with something. No, so he goes like, you want to know about the Antichrist? You know, we should call fucking Mephisto.
I got
What?
a speed dial. Beep, 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 beep,
Well, no, he does a.
That's not a good idea.
So he does
When
a.
do you ever trust Mephisto?
Well, he binds him. He calls Mephisto and then pulls him into a binding spell, which forces Mephisto to stay in this plane and also
to them.
and answer their questions truthfully. Interestingly enough, Quesada would drum Mephisto now and then 10 years later when he would undo the marriage in one more day. And in this one, Mephisto looks like a goddamn demon with like a crazy tongue and shit.
That's cool.
Basically, the doc says like, what's up? And Mephisto's like, no, I hear voices. One of them's Doctor Strange. Hey, Steve, what's up? And Steve's like, yeah, I don't care that you know it's me. I just don't want you to know who my friend is. And so there, he's like, what about is the child that my friend is in the kid? Is Jesus coming back? Like, is it the Messiah? And he's like, Jesus will come in the form of an adult man. No, it's not a baby.
Did they ever address that again?
No! No!
In
Marvel's
like
not gonna-
2,000 years. or
Marvel is
something.
not going to do the story where Jesus comes back.
I was just wondering.
You know, have they ever done a book in which Jesus
returns from
comes
the
to Earth
grave
and
Yeah,
brings
what's funny,
everyone
though,
like,
is
to heaven and
everlasting
shit?
life.
Yeah, but this
they've never
Mephisto
done
isn't the devil.
No, he's not. But he does have mastery over, like, the underworld, and he does deal with souls and
And he
shit.
No, it's
knows
true.
things.
Yeah, and he knows things about
And
God.
he likes people to think he's the devil.
Yeah, but he's not the devil. He's an elder god of the Marvel Universe. Like, it's not the same fucking thing, but not everyone knows that or cares. In it, they also talk about whether it's the Antichrist.
Holy shit, he's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he can grow and shrink as need be.
Yeah. By the way, this is appropriate. You should be here because Tiffany discussed Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph, and Torment. Right over Ben.
Right? In which Doctor Strange.
And Doctor Doom battle Mephisto.
Yep.
Oh.
It's fucking
A
awesome.
very different Mephisto.
Yeah, he doesn't look like this ridiculous Spawn reject.
No.
I prefer this one.
He is cool.
Oh, come on. The other one's awesome.
Yeah, where he looks like,
Yeah.
like a
You just have
jackass.
3 characters all talking the third person.
Yeah. Basically, Mephisto's like, wait a minute, I know who that is. You're that asshole who dresses like me. Can't have any fucking powers.
Correction, he's dressing like the Catholic devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of whom I am trying to approximate. But, you know, he's like,
How's he
Do you
find
like
out
my
about
cape?
it?
how does he find out about Daredevil?
Yeah.
Well, he knows about Daredevil, and
But
actually...
I thought Doctor Strange was like hiding him.
Yeah, but, like, it doesn't work, because it's greater magic.
because
and
he's
shit.
not that good a magician.
He's Sorcerer Supreme!
Okay, he's not a magician.
Well, whatever. He's not that good a sorcerer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's an extremely wonderful and skilled sorcerer. It's
Yeah.
just that Mephisto happens to be incredibly...
Why did he
Powerful.
think this would work?
Because he's Sorcerer Supreme, hubris.
He's not a magician.
He also didn't
he's
think
an
he was gonna-
illusionist.
He probably thought it was going to be a little quicker.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, but Mephisto, you know, he's also like, ooh, an opportunity to, like, fuck with you guys. So he's like, oh, Daredevil, you're wrapped up in a ridiculously circuitous scheme that only I would be envious of its mastery and stupidity.
So
and,
he's Q?
yeah, he's messing. Well, he's basically like, you know, Daredevil, you have no idea who's pulling your strings, but there's a puppet master at work. And Daredevil's like, who is it? And he's like, oh, I might just be getting out. And Strange's like, get the fuck out of here. So Strange gets rid of Mephisto. And, you know, Daredevil's not anywhere closer.
Yeah, that didn't help at
But
all.
he also says, but he does say, like, and while we're talking, your mom's being murdered, so you might want to go deal with that.
Oh,
God.
shit.
And Daredevil's like, ah! So Daredevil runs.
Motherfucker!
So Daredevil runs to the church where his mom is, and a couple of nuns were killed, but his mom wasn't one of them.
Look, it's hard to tell nuns apart when it's just a little bit of face, okay?
Well, you are very nunnist.
So,
I'll have none of that.
is,
All right, enough nonsense.
Good look.
is Doctor Strange in this anymore?
No, he left. Thank you for stopping by.
Eggs first. Stopping by.
Right. Bullseye's got Karen and the baby, and he's looking for the baby.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Bullseye rips out his own teeth and throws them as projectiles.
Oh,
Yeah.
because he's that like desperate to kill.
Well, just to fuck with him, because remember, he's not supposed to kill Daredevil.
That's
Oh, yeah.
just.
It's like, you gotta
so
tell
You
me
can
what-
only do that move like one time.
Yeah.
His teeth aren't growing
No, I
back.
could do that move like 32 times.
Well, that's true. But he has all his teeth before. This is the first time he's decided to bust out the ripping out his own teeth and throw at you move.
Yeah. I will say,
Does the situation warrant that?
Hey, I can get
well,
dentures.
it's Kevin Smith being like, I'm writing the fucking Bullseye versus Daredevil. I gotta pull out all the stops.
Okay.
Yeah, that is definitely something I've never seen before, Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
By the way, he's also being paid by McCobb $5 million. So he's probably like,
Oh.
I'll buy some new fucking teeth.
Good point.
Daredevil's mom basically gives Karen the baby.
Okay.
And then Karen's like, if you don't kill Daredevil, I'll give you the baby. Because I associate the baby with all of my problems.
Really?
Yeah.
Even
Even after all that.
after Daredevil chewed her out.
Yep. She's like, yeah, well, I want to be with Matt, and I want this problem to go away. So, and also, like, I'm not interested in raising a baby or anything.
This isn't my baby.
Yeah, it's
There's
not my
other
baby.
answers besides giving the baby to the fucking psychopath.
Yeah, I know. She winds up actually giving Bullseye a decoy
Oh.
instead of the baby. Bullseye reasons that the baby is with the one nun he didn't kill.
Okay.
So he winds up, like, attacking Daredevil's mom and stealing the baby anyway.
Yes.
And then Karen, like, picks up the gun and she's like, you know, you gotta give me the baby. And Bullseye's like, nah.
Puts his face up against the gun.
Yep, because he's like, you're an idiot.
You won't.
You won't. Well, also, like, it's unloaded.
Oh.
And so it's not loaded, and
Oh, shit.
yeah. Fucking he winds up taking the baby. And then he's like, you know what? Because of your hubris and like your balls, chick, I'm not going to kill you. But now that I've got the baby, and I have Daredevil here, and I have this billy club, I'm going to kill Daredevil anyway. So he throws the billy club at Daredevil at much like that scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Where he kills Elektra's dad with the billy club.
Yeah.
But Karen jumps in the way and is impaled with the billy club and dies.
That's fucking nuts.
And thus endeth Karen Page's career in this book.
Oh my god.
And she's dead forever. Like, that's it. No fucking magic or shit. We killed Karen Page. And it's funny because, like, Daredevil was sad that they broke up.
Yeah.
And then he's sad for the rest of the book that she's dead. Like, it's just, he loses her twice in this book.
And I'm guessing that Bullseye does not get what's coming to him.
No. Bullseye doesn't even come back.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah,
In
Bullseye
fact,
drops off the baby.
Bullseye he delivers the baby. And it's funny because...
his job wasn't to deliver the baby, it was to kill the baby.
No, his job was to bring the baby to Macabre.
Who's got to do something
Nefarious with it. But also, then there's like a news article later on that reveals that Macabre was actually murdered.
Oh.
Matt winds up, like, just becoming unhinged. He destroys his apartment, and then he gets, like, the gun that she had, and he's, like, thinking about killing himself. And then he remembers a happy memory with her, and it gives him the strength to not die. And so he,
good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this book would be really hard to come back from.
But it's funny, because, like, the news articles are about, her being killed.
Right.
And Kingpin reads it, and he's like, nice. Because he knows who Matt Murdock is. He knows who Karen Page is and how connected he is. So he's like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then he masturbates with a cheeseburger.
What? Because he's heavy?
Because he's the Kingpin, yeah.
Daredevil winds up, like, pulling the pieces together about Macabre and about, like, Bullseye and all this shit.
Because Macabre is dead.
Because Macabre is dead, but he's not, as you can see. Like, Macabre is still alive and well, and he's like, oh no, like, Daredevil's coming. Like,
coming where? Like, what?
Well, he knows that, like, because Karen is dead, Daredevil will stop at nothing to find out, like, who hired Bullseye and why and where that all... So, Daredevil tears up this nefarious bar and, like...
His plan, like, relied on Daredevil not giving a fuck.
Yes.
And just going away. Not, I lost the baby.
Or killing himself or whatever, yeah. But no. And in fact, like...
And I mean, it came close to that.
Macabre's plan is not for Daredevil to give up, but rather for Daredevil to lose everything. But why? We don't know. Like, and we know that Kingpin's not involved, so who the fuck could it be?
Right.
Because Macabre is actually his father back from the grave!
Yeah. No, thankfully it's not.
Dear God.
Like that. Dear God! What a terrible idea they would do! So, Daredevil just basically beats the information out of everybody until he winds up going to, like, Macabre's, billion-dollar high rise. He fights the hand.
That's
some
awesome.
Ninjas. Because Kevin Smith remembers when Daredevil used to do that.
Yep.
And the Hand was hired to, like, run Daredevil through the gauntlet in the lobby. Okay. So Daredevil goes through, like, all this shit. He goes through every level of hell to get to, like,
Or every level of that video game.
Yeah. So Daredevil fights the Hand, then he fights Baal, and Baal is, like, not superpowered and shit. Like, he like, seems to be, but then, like, he beats the shit out of him, and he, like, rips him apart, and it turns out that Baal has, like, this, this mechanical shit on him to, like it's robot. Fake. He's not a robot. He's a guy, but he had like a suit on.
He had like a mechanical arm,
chest, and so Daredevil, like, goes to Cobb's office, where it is revealed through smoke and chicanery that Mysterio, the Master of Illusion, was behind it all.
Wow.
Fucking what?
This is great! Mysterio not only took away everything Daredevil did, but Mysterio's also the one that, like, convinced Logan to kill all of the X-Men.
It's true, he did.
Mysterio's kind of a badass.
He is kind of a badass. And this is Mysterio Quentin Beck, the original Mysterio, because there have been several Mysterios, but this is the one that Kevin Smith remembers. So, Quentin...
Okay, when you said a couple of Mysterios, it sounds like he's a breakfast cereal.
Oh, Mysterios! Part of a complete breakfast.
What's the flavor? I don't know.
There isn't one. There's no cereal. So
was there even a baby? Or
yes,
was that all
there was a baby, but Mysterio's like, nah, like, I will reveal my master plan.
I raped this little girl. And I was pretending there wasn't anyone, and it
Yeah.
was immaculate, so
Well,
she wasn't lying.
Mysterio, by the way, like has the baby.
Yeah.
And the baby is in like an airproof room and has like 17 minutes before all the air in the room will be depleted.
Okay.
So he's like, you have to listen to my monologue before I tell you where the baby is, or she'll die. So shut up and listen. So after a beating, he explains that like,
Well, how could Mysterio beat up Daredevil?
oh, he doesn't.
No, I thought,
like
Mysterio
Daredevil
got the
beats
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 up.
on him. He's like, stop,
Oh.
stop! I got to explain everything first.
Okay.
So.
Wait, time out.
And it's actually this. I love the sequence because he goes, "Come on, follow me into my chamber where I'll explain everything." And then like Daredevil's like, "Damn it!" Like he doesn't want to be like led anymore. He's been led down the rabbit hole too many fucking
Yeah,
times.
it's like, enough.
He's just watching. He's like, "Oh, if the baby's even alive."
Right.
And then like Mysterio pops back and he's like, "It's 13 minutes left. You know, you gotta hurry up." He's like, "Let's go!"
Why is there a Terminator?
Oh, these are just robots. Mysterio relies on like robots and smoke and mirrors and like just all Hollywood fakery because Mysterio is actually Quentin Beck, who used to be a Hollywood stuntman.
Oh. So he doesn't have any powers
No.
of illusion. He has, like, machines of illusion.
Yes, but he also has access to like mind-altering drugs that
Oh.
that facilitate his illusions.
Okay. And how did he look like Macabre?
Illusions.
What does that mean?
So, okay, this is where Kevin Smith gets creative, because he's like, all right, the idea is that Mysterio was, you know, he explains his origin. Like, I was obsessed with chemicals as a kid, and I like doing magic, and, you know, I got into Hollywood, and then I became a Spider-Man villain, and I was part of the Sinister Six, and I, like, did all this stuff. Spider-Man kept beating my ass, and I fucking got sick of it. And then eventually, he, like, was having some trouble, so he went to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed him with terminal brain cancer and lung cancer.
Oh.
So he's like, shit,
Yeah, shit.
I'm gonna die. Which means I have time for one last great scheme! But he was, like, looking in the news, and he saw that Spider-Man was some dumb clone. So he's like, I can't. So he's like, damn it! I can't even get revenge on Spider-Man because he, in itself, Spider-Man is an illusion. And so basically, Mysterio had like one experience fighting Daredevil, and he's like, cool, okay, Spider-Man is my nemesis, but he's gone. And I was always kind of a C-list villain anyway, so why not defeat a C-list superhero like Daredevil?
Ooh.
Shouldn't be hard to do.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Sick burn.
So he goes to Kingpin and he's like, I want all the... I have another scheme. And Kingpin's like, oh god, is it another insurance scheme? Or maybe like you're going to mask an old folks' home to be an amusement park or something? And he goes, oh no, I want to drive Daredevil insane. And Kingpin's like, fuck yes. So for $1 million, Kingpin told Quentin Beck everything about Daredevil.
Okay.
Like, who he is, who he loves, his whole origin story, everything.
Where did Mysterio get $1 million?
He had, I mean, like, Mysterio has stolen...
It was just cut up newspaper.
It was an illusion! No, it was, I feel like Kingpin would have done it for free, but, like, in any case,
He doesn't do anything for free.
No, he doesn't. He'll take the $1 million. Okay, the Immaculate Conception, it was artificial insemination.
Okay. Does she not remember that happening?
No, she was...
He drugged her?
She came from a devout Catholic family,
Okay.
and then he drugged her, and then impregnated her. Then she was killed or assassinated by them.
Right.
That sucks for that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Also,
everybody who died in this book, which is like 20 people.
yeah. Then there was the widower, who was also just an actress who had an insatiable drug habit. So he fed her drugs by acting like a widower who had a lot of money, and then he drugged Nelson and made him think he saw a demon.
Shit, so that wasn't even real.
Nope.
Oh.
Well,
Fuck.
she really did die, though.
Yeah, she
yeah.
died.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't a
And Foggy
demon.
killed her.
And Macabre was a real guy, but Mysterio killed him too.
What?
And impersonated him. And then
Wore his face.
yeah, and then also impersonated the doctor
face.
that Mysterio also impersonated the doctor that Karen Page went to for her diagnosis.
Oh my god. She doesn't have AIDS or didn't have AIDS?
Maybe.
Mysterio-
He doesn't say one way or the other, but he goes, I would have gotten a second opinion, though. I mean, with a diagnosis that severe. But what she did was she got on a plane and went to New York and cried at you about it.
You know what's amazing about all of this? Is the fact that Mysterio was able to coordinate his schedule well enough.
Well, he had
that he was able to be in all these places. Like, shit,
Yeah.
all right, so I got to be in California at this time so I can give this drug test.
Yeah.
And then I can be back on this coast so I can kill this guy so I can take care of that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, my day planner is just packed.
It's true.
Well, he doesn't have anything else to do. It's not.
He's gonna die.
It's a normal
and he's-
job, but he's dying.
And he spent like $1 million. He doesn't. Mysterio's a shitty villain, but he probably robbed a couple of banks.
How great would it be if Mysterio had, like, an intern named Kyle that, like, kept his planner
Kyle
for
took
him?
care of most of the things
It
for
was
him.
his, like, assistant.
Yeah, Mysterio's junior.
Mysterio, sir, you have a meeting at 5 o'clock.
You have to
that
be on the
take
West
care of.
Coast by Tuesday, to fake those doctor's results. Daryl's like, is Karen still out? He's like, oh no, that fucking happened. Like, that's Bullseye. I hired Bullseye. I mean,
Right.
fucking Jesus Christ, I'm surprised you're alive. So, but he goes like, but I needed you to be alive so that you could come here, hear my tale, and then murder me. Because that will destroy you. And Daredevil basically doesn't.
Right.
And instead, he says, like, I'm not going to kill you. You suck. You're fucking Mysterio. Your whole plan is actually just a bunch of bullshit because, like, the plan of driving me insane, Kingpin had that idea. Like, a couple of years ago. That was a whole story arc that happened a couple of years ago. Didn't you read that one? Like, and also, like, the dystopian nightmare of fucking the Antichrist and shit. Yeah, that's pretty fucking played out, man. That's end of days shit. Like, come on. And he's just dressing him down and picking him apart and destroying him. And he's like, I wouldn't even waste my time with someone like you. So just tell me where the baby is.
I wouldn't even waste my time with someone like you except for the fact that I am.
Well,
and have been this
just,
entire time.
there's a baby. Like, the one thing
I
that
gotta get
matters
this baby.
is that there's a baby that's gonna die because of you human Xerox. Like, you're nothing. So, Mysterio, broken, just reveals the baby. Matt takes the baby, and then Mysterio's like, well, maybe I'll kill you with this gun! And Matt's like, no, you're not. And Mysterio's like, no, I'm not. Because I've stolen my grand finale from Kraven the Hunter, and then shoots himself in the head and kills himself.
He says that?
Wow.
Yeah!
That's awesome.
So he kills himself, and Matt's like, I knew he was going to from all the sense, and I didn't stop him.
I don't have to save you.
Yeah, but I don't have to save you. So he just lets him die, and then they have a funeral for Karen,
Yeah.
and Matt's basically like at the end of his fucking rope,
Yeah.
and Spider-Man and Peter Parker like knows Matt and Daredevil are the same. They're kind of friends and peers. And at the funeral, Spider-Man's like, I heard Mysterio died. I'd like to know what happened. Can you meet me? Like, somewhere? And Matt's like, okay. So Matt, as Daredevil, and Pete as Spider-Man, like, go to their usual place, which I don't really remember where it was, but it doesn't matter. They go hang out, and they talk.
Wait, is Foggy in jail?
Oh, Foggy.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Because
He still killed that girl.
Oh no! Like it was like self-defense. She attacked him. It was fake. Like, so once the truth comes out,
How? How
well,
did I even figure out? There's no witnesses.
no, but like fucking no. There's documented evidence from all of Mysterio's master schemes.
Oh, okay.
No, once it comes
he
out,
kept meticulous notes.
he
Actually.
did. Well, yeah, because he wants to prove that it happened.
they found the day plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a schedule.
They got Kyle, and Kyle like
Kyle's like, whoa, I ain't going to jail for this
yeah,
guy.
sound like a canary. The nail in the coffin for Foggy is that right before he's freed, Liz visits him in jail. His girlfriend, and she's
yeah.
like, and he's like, no, it's okay. Like, it was all fake. And she's like, but you still fucked her though. And he's like, and she's like, yeah, bye.
But I was on drugs.
Yeah, no. So she leaves.
She also turned into a demon in my head.
yeah, in your head, but you had sex with her before that though. She's like,
You didn't push her out the window as a woman.
yeah, you didn't push her out of the window because you felt bad about having sex with her. So,
If I did, would that be better?
no.
Ah!
So Matt is like, so here's what happened with Mysterio and blah blah blah. And,
Yeah.
so that's there you go.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Daredevil's like, I'm gonna quit. I can't do this. Life sucks. It's not worth it. And Pete's like, yeah, but the baby's okay. Like, yeah, but you saved the baby though.
Right.
And Matt's like, wow, leave it to Spider-Man to look on the bright side of things. Holy shit, thanks a lot, Pete. And so Matt recalls a conversation that he had with Karen in which she's like, you know, maybe you should like rebuild Nelson and Murdoch because you still own the plot where the building used to be. And he's like, I don't know, I got a lot of pain associated with that experience, and you know, plus like I don't have the money. And she's like, fair enough.
Plus, Kingpin will just blow it up again.
Yeah, but because Karen was murdered and because she had a life insurance policy, she left everything to Matt.
Oh, wow.
So Matt gets this tidy inheritance, and in honor of Karen, he rebuilds Nelson and Murdoch as a law firm.
Aw.
Which is nice.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So Kevin Smith kind of like sets up this like new status quo where it's like everything's back to where it was.
Yeah.
And it's okay. What the fuck happens with the baby?
Matt gives it up for adoption.
Yeah,
Good.
Like
Like he
anyone
fucking
would
should have
have
at the beginning of the book. And she is adopted by a kindly New Jersey couple from Leonardo, New Jersey, whose names are Donald and Grace, Kevin Smith's parents.
Aw.
And he says, like, I wonder if they'll be okay with occasional visits from her Uncle Matt. Which, of course, never happens.
Which he's not gonna do.
No. Natasha shows up and, like, punches him in the face because of it. Because he's like, no, it was Mysterio. She's like, of course it was Mysterio. All right, well, bye.
Oh,
You still
Mysterio,
threw a baby
gotcha.
off a roof.
Yeah, but it was because of the drugs.
It was
like,
the drugs.
It was all the drugs.
That's what we'll say afterwards.
Yeah, it was always the
It
drugs.
was always the drugs.
So, you know, it ends at a place where Matt, like, smiles at the end, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I mean, he got the...
He saved the baby.
He saved the baby and he rebuilt his practice.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
he still lost Karen.
But his
Yeah,
wife
he
is... But his,
did.
That
his
sucks.
girlfriend's
she
dead.
had already dumped him.
And she never had AIDS.
She never had AIDS. Kind of rough. But yeah, Daredevil, Guardian Devil is pretty cool. Still pretty much holds up.
Look, it's a fun story.
It's a fun
Yeah.
story.
and I really like this art.
It's a crazy ride. The art is really cool, actually. I always love the image of, like, his billy club being everywhere. Like, this is
Why does it have so much fucking string?
because he uses it like
looks
Batman's
cool.
fucking grapple.
Yeah, he swings across the city, kind of like, you know,
But
Batman.
why
and
is it
Spider-Man.
all around him?
Because
like,
it
wouldn't
looks
like,
cool.
tighten around his
no,
body?
because it's not there yet. Once it
Oh.
reaches destination, it'll pull taut and then it'll swing from it. Guardian Devil, I'm going to put a link in the description box below this video so you can pick up a copy because it's fun, it's cool, I like this book.
I
and,
recommend this too. This is awesome.
I doubt you will see this in season 2 of Daredevil.
Probably not.
Are we gonna get Bullseye? Because I honestly think if
There better be
Netflix
Bullseye.
did Bullseye,
Yeah.
it would be a great villain.
Oh,
for
easily.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I know we're getting punished.
We're getting Punisher, we're getting Elektra. They were going to do Bullseye, and the rumor was that Jason Statham was going to be Bullseye.
Oh.
But the rumor is that once Statham's agent heard that, he asked for more money. And Marvel was like, oh, no, never mind.
Oh, no,
You know, as
Oh, it
much
doesn't
as
matter.
I like Jason Statham, I don't want him to be Bullseye.
No?
Yeah?
No.
You don't want another guy with an accent to be Bullseye?
I literally want no one to be Bullseye.
You want, like, a nobody.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. We'll see you guys next week with an all-new episode of Backage. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, I like this Daredevil book. It's a lot of fun. We'll see you guys next week. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Bye.
Bye.